They know, the universe knows, the streets know. And now you know you've always been one of the chosen ones, but you've only felt it as a whisper, an intuition, a strange feeling that follows you in the silence of night when everyone else is deep in slumber. But they just made their biggest mistake. They revealed the secret about you, about your power, about your truth, the chosen ones and the others. Two worlds, two frequencies, two completely different realities existing in the same space, but only one is authentic, only one vibrates with pure truth. And you belong to that reality. Why do you think they've always underestimated you? Why do you think they've silenced you? Why have they tried to make you feel small, insignificant, even crazy? Because they know. They've always sensed the truth in you, even when you were silent, even when you said nothing. Your authentic presence has always been a threat to their collective lie. Every room you've entered has changed. Have you noticed? The energy shifted. Conversations stopped, gazes turned toward you. Not because you're strange, not because you don't fit in, but because your authentic vibration disturbs their comfortable illusion. They sense the truth. They sense the power. They sense your higher frequency that threatens to expose everything. You didn't come here to blend in. You didn't come here to be like them. You didn't come here to play by their rules. You came to change the game, to change the system, to change the frequency, simply by your existence. The chosen ones don't need to shout. They don't need to announce their presence. They don't need to ask permission to exist. They simply are. And in this authentic existence lies all their power. Their power that makes falsifiers tremble, manipulators fear, and liars hide. You've felt this your entire life, that strange feeling that you know things you shouldn't know, that you see things others cannot see, that you sense energies others ignore. This isn't your imagination. It's not a coincidence. It's not an error. It's your activation. It's your awakening. It's your calling. Your authentic vibration is like a radio frequency constantly broadcasting truth in a world full of static noise. Those on the same wavelength will hear it. Those stuck in the lower frequencies of fear and lies will only feel discomfort in your presence. You're different because you need to be different. You're powerful because you need to be powerful. You're truthful because truth is the only frequency that can transform this reality. And now they've made the mistake. They've revealed the secret. Everyone knows that you are one of the chosen ones. Number 2. When you enter a room, the air changes. This isn't just a metaphor. It's physical. It's tangible. It's real. Your authentic frequency literally alters the molecular structure of the space you exist in. Have you ever noticed how people suddenly become aware of your presence, even before seeing or hearing you? How conversations subtly shift? How some feel instantly drawn to you while others instinctively pull away? This isn't ordinary charisma. It's not social charm. It's the power of your authentic presence, disrupting false energy fields and forcing reality to realign around your truth. It's as if you're a magnet, reorganizing metal shavings in a world that has forgotten what authentic order looks like. When someone authentic enters a false environment, the entire system begins to recalibrate. Those who live in truth will feel immediate relief, recognition, resonance. Those who live in lies will feel inexplicable discomfort, a subtle threat to their carefully constructed reality. You don't need to say anything. You don't need to do anything. Your mere breathing in a space changes the energetic dynamics. Your mere presence forces authenticity to surface and falsehood to become visible. It's basic spiritual physics. Two opposing frequencies cannot coexist. Without interference, your physical body is merely a vessel for this higher frequency. It's the antenna through which cosmic truth transmits into this reality. Every cell in your body vibrates at a frequency that harmonizes with universal truth. And this vibration is contagious. It's transformative. It's revolutionary. Have you ever noticed how people begin speaking more honestly when you're present? How they reveal parts of themselves they usually hide? How they suddenly become more reflective, more introspective, more authentic? This isn't coincidence. It's the effect of your energy field on them. Essentially, you're a catalyst for transformation simply by existing, an accelerator for spiritual evolution, an activator for higher consciousness, and you don't even have to try. You don't need to force. You don't need to manipulate. You just need to be present, completely and authentically. This power comes with responsibility, the responsibility to remain centered in your truth, regardless of the reactions you provoke. The responsibility to maintain your high frequency, even when those around you try to pull you back into duality and fear. The responsibility to be a beacon of authenticity in a sea of illusions. You modify reality just by breathing. You transform collective consciousness just by your thoughts. You change the trajectory of human evolution just by your authentic existence. This is the power of your presence. And now everyone knows. When you enter a room full of people wearing masks, the masks begin to feel uncomfortable. When you sit in a circle of people telling lies, the lies begin to sound false, even to their own ears. When you exist in a system, based on fear and control, the system begins to reveal its own contradictions and weaknesses. You are the catalyst. You are the agent of change. You are the presence that makes falsehood unable to exist comfortably. And that's just by breathing the same air as them. Number 3. Have you ever seen the panic in a liar's eyes when they realize that you know? There's no need to say anything. No need to accuse, no need to confront, you know. They know that you know, and that's enough to create chaos in their nervous system. The false ones react to your authentic presence in predictable ways. Initially, they'll try to ignore you. They'll pretend you're not there, that your frequency isn't disturbing their carefully constructed reality. But their ignoring is forced. It's strained, it's full of effort. Because they sense you, they sense your truth, they sense the threat your authenticity poses to their illusion-based system. Then, when ignoring doesn't work, they'll try to discredit you, make you seem crazy, too sensitive, too intense, too different. Why are you so serious? Why can't you just relax? Why do you have to complicate things? All these questions are desperate attempts to diminish your frequency, to make you doubt your own perception, to get you to lower to their level of consciousness. When discrediting fails, they'll try to co-opt you, convince you that you're one of them, that you're special but not so special as to disturb the status quo. They'll offer you a seat at their table, provided you dim your light, moderate your truth, filter your authenticity for their comfort. And when that doesn't work either, when you refuse to be ignored, discredited, or co-opted, then comes their true fear. Then direct attacks emerge. Passive aggression becomes active. Whispers become accusations. Their discomfort becomes open hostility, because you represent everything they're afraid to be, everything they've sacrificed for social acceptance, everything they've repressed to fit in. You are the mirror showing them the price they've paid for their illusion of safety and belonging. Have you noticed how some people suddenly become defensive in your presence, even when you've said nothing provocative? How they suddenly feel the need to justify their choices, lifestyle, beliefs. How they start telling you about their achievements, possessions, relationships, without you asking. It's their system's reaction to your higher frequency. It's their ego desperately trying to defend its constructed reality in the face of your unwavering authenticity. You don't judge. You don't need to judge. Truth doesn't judge falsehood. Light doesn't judge darkness. They simply exist at different frequencies. And the presence of light makes darkness become aware of itself. The presence of truth makes falsehood see its own illusory nature. That's what happens when you enter the room. When you join the conversation, when you enter someone's life, you bring with you the frequency of truth that makes it impossible for others to comfortably maintain their illusions. And their reactions to you are simply the measure of the distance between their constructed reality and the truth you embody. They don't hate you. They hate what you represent. They hate the mirror that you are. They hate how your mere existence makes visible all their compromises, all their lies, all the ways they've sold themselves for an illusion of safety and acceptance. You haven't come to destroy their world. You've come to offer an alternative, to show them there's another way, a path of authenticity, a path of truth, a path of real power that comes from alignment with your own divine nature. But to see this alternative, they must first see the falsity of their own reality. And that hurts, that frightens, that provokes resistance. Their reactions to you are merely the measure of their fear of their own truth. Number 4, Your silence is more powerful than all their words combined. Have you noticed? When everyone else is talking, explaining, justifying, arguing, and you remain quiet, observing, absorbing, feeling, an energetic vacuum is created that inevitably draws them in. They keep talking, filling the space, avoiding the void. But you, in your silence, become the gravitational center of the entire dynamic. They don't fear your words. They fear when you choose to be silent, because in your silence lies the power of pure observation, the power of unaltered discernment, the power of conscious presence that sees beyond words, beyond gestures, beyond masks. You've learned the art of observing without judging, of listening not just to words, but to the frequency behind the words, of feeling not just the expressed emotions, but the energetic truth pulsating beneath their surface. And in this silent observation lies one of the most powerful abilities of the chosen ones, the capacity to see what others cannot or will not see. When you're in this state of pure observation, time seems to slow down. Details become clearer. Contradictions become evident. You'll notice how someone's words don't align with their energy, how the smile doesn't reach their eyes, how their body tells a different story than what they vocally articulate. Whispers hear a different tale than what they proclaim. This ability to observe, to absorb, to feel beyond the surface isn't paranormal. It isn't magical. It's the natural result of your alignment with the frequency of truth. It's what happens when you're present, completely present, without the filters of ego, without the distortions of fear, without the limitations of social programming. In silence, you hear what isn't said. In stillness, you observe what's hidden. In the space between thoughts, you perceive the truth that exists beyond words. Have you ever noticed how, after a period of silence from you, people begin to reveal things they didn't intend to share? How truth starts flowing from them, almost against their will. How their secrets, fears, authentic hopes begin to pour into the safe space of your presence. That's because your silence creates a vessel, a container. A sacred space where truth can exist without judgment, without rejection, without fear. Most people fear silence. They fear empty space. They fear moments when there are no distractions, noise, activity to protect them from their own thoughts, their own feelings, their own inner truth. But you've learned to dwell in silence, to breathe in empty space, to exist comfortably in pure presence without the constant need for external stimulation, validation, confirmation. And this capacity to be in silence, to observe, to absorb, is one of the most revolutionary acts in today's world. A world that values constant noise, constant reaction, constant expression, constant validation, constant consumption. When you choose strategic silence, when you choose to observe instead of immediately reacting, when you choose to absorb instead of instantly rejecting, you create a disruption in the collective matrix, a pause in the usual program, a moment of reality in an ocean of illusions. Your silence is a form of resistance to manipulation, to emotional propaganda, to the pressure of conformity, to the constant frenzy that keeps humanity locked in low frequencies of fear, reactivity, and separation. Notice how those around you react to your silence. Some will misinterpret it as judgment. Others will see it as a challenge. Some will fill it with their own projections, fears, desires. But a few, those who are ready to see, will recognize the power in your silence, will feel the invitation to a higher frequency of communication, to a deeper level of connection, to a more authentic space of sharing. Your silence isn't empty. It's full of presence, of awareness, of truth. And in this silent fullness lies one of your greatest powers, the power to see, to know, to understand beyond words, beyond appearances, beyond illusions. Your silence is more eloquent than millions of empty words. Your stillness is stronger than all their arguments. Your observation is more penetrating than any intellectual analysis. And in this revealing silence, in this pure observation, in this complete attention, lies one of the keys to unlocking the true nature of reality. Number 5. When everyone is silent, you speak. When truth becomes inconvenient, you proclaim it. When the system demands conformity, you remain vertical in your authenticity. Have you ever felt that pressure in your chest, That knot in your throat, that inner voice saying, "Speak now, this is your moment." This is the crossroads where your truth must be heard. There are crucial moments when silence becomes complicit in lies, when pure observation must give way to clear expression, when not speaking means allowing falsehood to triumph. And in those moments, you, one of the chosen ones, are called to be the voice of truth in the wilderness. This isn't about conflict. It isn't about egotistical confrontation. It isn't about proving you're right or someone else is wrong. It's about standing firmly in truth when truth is exactly what no one wants to hear. It's about being willing to be uncomfortable so that authenticity can breathe in a space suffocated by social pretenses. Have you noticed how when you speak truth in such moments, time seems to stop? How the air in the room seems to become denser? How all eyes turn to you with a mixture of shock, fear, respect, and perhaps, just perhaps, secret gratitude that someone finally had the courage to say what everyone was thinking, but no one dared to articulate. There's a fundamental difference between speaking to fill space and speaking to proclaim truth, between speaking from fear, from the need for validation, from the desire to control, and speaking from alignment, from clarity, from authentic power. When you speak from this place of aligned truth, your words aren't just sounds, they're frequencies. They're codes. They're keys that unlock new levels of consciousness in those who are ready to hear. When you defend truth in a moment, when everyone else chooses the comfort of silence, you aren't just performing an act of personal courage. You're creating a crack in the collective matrix, a rupture in the fabric of consensual illusion, a portal through which a new reality can begin to manifest. The false ones fear these moments most, the moments when you choose to speak truth directly, clearly, unapologetically, because in those moments the power of their manipulation games dissolves, their fear-based control evaporates, their artificial authority crumbles in the face of your unwavering authenticity. Have you noticed how, after you've spoken truth in such a situation, some people seem almost physically affected, how their energy changes, how some become defensive, others quiet, and a few, those who are ready, suddenly seem more alive, more present, as if awakened from some kind of trance? That's because truth spoken from alignment has a frequency that literally disrupts energy fields based on illusions. It's like a specific frequency sound that makes a crystal glass shatter. Your authentic words create a dissonant resonance for those living in falsehood, and a harmonious resonance for those aspiring to truth. When you speak this way, you're never alone. You speak with the voice of all who have ever defended truth in the face of comfort, with the voice of all who have chosen integrity over acceptance, with the voice of eternal truth that has always existed and will always exist, seeking human channels through which to express itself in this reality. It isn't always easy. It isn't always comfortable. Sometimes the consequences can seem severe in the world of form. You may lose friends, opportunities, social acceptance, but what you gain is incomparably more valuable: alignment with your own truth, the integrity of your own being, the power that comes from perfect coherence between what you know, what you feel, and what you express. And here's the paradox: the more willing you are to lose everything for truth, the more authentic power flows through you. The less attached you are to outcomes, to others' approval, to comfort, the more powerful the impact of your words becomes. You don't speak to convince, you don't speak to win. You speak because the truth flowing through you must be expressed. Because that's the nature of truth: to express itself, to expand, to transform everything it touches. And when you speak like this, you change the energetic field not just of the room, but of the entire collective reality. Every authentic word spoken from this place of alignment becomes a seed planted in humanity's consciousness, a seed that may remain dormant for a while, but will inevitably sprout and bloom when conditions are right. This is the impact of defending truth when no one else will speak. This is the power of being the voice in the wilderness, the bell that awakens, the light that pierces darkness. And now everyone knows that you are one who carries this power. Number 6. You don't need a title to lead. You don't need a platform to influence. You don't need external validation to transform. True leaders, the chosen ones, lead through the silent example of their own aligned existence. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to effortlessly draw others into their orbit? How they inspire changes in those around them without preaching or pressure? How their presence seems to elevate the frequency of any group or space they enter? This is the essence of silent leadership you embody, the power to change systems not through force or confrontation, but through your authentic presence. And now, everyone knows that you are one who carries this transformative power. Number 7. You don't need to proclaim truth for it to be perceived. Your truth radiates from you like a constant signal, like a unique frequency, like a subtle perfume that permeates every space you exist in. Even when you don't utter a word, your truth speaks. Have you ever noticed how people seem to know things about you without you telling them? How they react to your unspoken truths? How they seem to be attracted to or repelled by your values, beliefs, frequency, even if you've never vocally articulated them? That's because truth doesn't need words to be transmitted. The frequency of your truth is communicated constantly through your entire being. Every thought you have, every emotion you feel, every intention you form, every choice you make, all these create an energy field around you that communicates who you are with far more precision and power than your words ever could. Those with similar frequency will feel an immediate resonance with you, a recognition, a connection that transcends words, logic, ordinary social interactions. I know you, they'll feel even before exchanging a word. I recognize the truth in you because it's in me too. Those stuck in lower frequencies will feel either an inexplicable attraction, a thirst for the truth you embody, or an equally inexplicable repulsion, a discomfort, an irritation, a need to distance themselves from you, to discredit you, to somehow diminish you, not for what you say or do, but for what you are. Have you ever noticed how some people seem almost obsessed with you? How they constantly seem to look for faults, to criticize, to judge you, even when your interactions with them are minimal. It's their system's reaction to the truth you constantly emit. It's their resistance to the frequency of truth that disturbs their comfortable illusion. At the same time, have you noticed how others seem to open up in your presence? How they become more honest, more vulnerable, more authentic? How they share things they don't usually tell anyone? It's their unconscious recognition of the safe space you create by simply existing in your truth. It's their response to the tacit invitation of your higher frequency. Your truth is perceived at a cellular level by everyone you come into contact with. Their bodies, even if their minds are unconscious of it, react to the energy field of your truth. Their nervous systems recognize your frequency even before their consciousness can process it. That's why manipulators and controllers fear your presence so much, not for what you might say or do, but for what you are, for the frequency of truth you constantly maintain that makes it impossible for lies to thrive in your presence. Your truth transmits through methods that transcend the limitations of verbal communication. It transmits through energetic resonance, through frequency alignment, through the coherence of your electromagnetic field, through the perfect congruence between your thoughts, emotions, words, and actions. When this congruence exists, this total alignment, you become like a laser of truth that penetrates all layers of illusions, all masks, all defense systems, not in a violent or invasive way, but as a light that simply reveals what was always there. And here's the paradox. The less you try to communicate your truth, the less attached you are to the need for others to understand you, approve of you, agree with you, the more powerful the impact of your truth becomes on those around you. Truth doesn't need to convince. It doesn't need to justify itself. It doesn't need to win debates. Truth simply is. And in this simple, unaltered, uncompromised existence lies all its power. You don't need to spend your energy trying to convince those who aren't ready to see. You don't need to exhaust your resources trying to explain what can only be felt, perceived, recognized at a level beyond mind. All you need to do is exist in complete alignment with your truth, and your frequency will communicate everything. That needs to be communicated. Those who are ready to hear will hear even when you don't speak. Those who are ready to see will see even when you don't show. Those who are ready to feel will feel, even when you mask. Because truth transcends all external forms and speaks directly to essence. You constantly communicate at the level of essence with the essence of everyone you come into contact with. It's a silent, constant conversation taking place beyond words, beyond gestures, beyond visible actions. It's the dialogue of truth with truth, of authenticity with authenticity, of essence with essence. And in this silent communication, in this constant transmission of your true frequency, lies one of your most powerful contributions to this world, the presence of a living, breathable, tangible truth in a sea of convenient illusions. Number 8. You see through masks. Your gaze penetrates the layers of pretense, social facades, and carefully constructed illusions that others wear as armor. It isn't telepathy. It isn't supernatural. It's the natural result of your own alignment with truth, which allows you to instantly recognize the lack of this alignment in others. Have you ever noticed how you can immediately sense when someone isn't being honest? How you can detect the incongruence between their words and their energy? How you can perceive the discrepancy between the image they're trying to project and the truth of what they really are? This isn't coincidence or luck. It's one of the most powerful abilities of the chosen ones, the capacity to see through illusions directly to essence. When you're aligned with truth, falsehood becomes glaringly obvious. When you vibrate at the frequency of authenticity, any form of pretentiousness emits a dissonance you can feel almost physically. When you exist in complete coherence, any lack of coherence in others becomes impossible to ignore. This ability to see through masks isn't about judgment. It isn't about superiority. It's a tool of discernment, a protection mechanism, an internal compass that guides you toward truth in all your interactions. Your eyes see beyond words, beyond smiles, beyond titles, beyond external achievements. They see directly into the heart of intention, into the center of motivation, into the essence of what is truly present. And this clear vision is simultaneously a gift and a responsibility. Have you noticed how you can often sense what others desperately try to hide? Their insecurities masked by bravado, their fear hidden behind aggressiveness, their vulnerabilities covered by perfectionism, their need for love disguised as independence. That's because masks cannot hide energetic truth. They may fool the mind, but they cannot fool the field. They may deceive ordinary perception, but they cannot deceive perception operating from alignment with truth. When you meet someone for the first time, you receive an instant download of information about them, not through their words, not through their appearance, not through their resume, but through their frequency, through the coherence or lack of coherence of their energy field, through their degree of alignment or misalignment with their own truth. This ability to see through masks is crucial in our age of surface without substance, of image without essence, of words without resonance. In a world where appearances are carefully cultivated and authenticity is rare, your capacity to discern truth from illusion is not just a personal advantage, it's a service to collective evolution. Through this ability, you become a catalyst for authenticity in everyone you come into contact with. When you refuse to engage with masks and interact only with the essence behind them, you create a tacit invitation for others to do the same. To set aside pretenses, to abandon facades, to exist in their unaltered truth. Of course, not everyone will accept this invitation. Many are too invested in their masks, too dependent on the protection they believe they provide, too attached to the identities they've so carefully constructed. And that's okay. It isn't your role to rip masks off faces that aren't ready to exist without them. Your role is simple: to see truth, to recognize truth, to honor truth in all your interactions, to create a space where authenticity is not just permitted, but celebrated, to maintain the frequency of truth with such clarity and power that it becomes an irresistible invitation for all who are ready to align with their own authentic nature. Have you noticed how, in your presence, some people suddenly seem more real? How their masks seem to dissolve? How they seem to set aside the characters they usually play and exist, even if briefly, in a space of greater authenticity? This is the power of your frequency, of your clear vision, of your tacit refusal to interact with anything other than truth. This ability to see through masks allows you to navigate the world with a level of clarity that is foreign to those stuck in surface perception. It allows you to make decisions based not on appearances, but on essence. To form connections, not with characters but with authentic beings. To create not from illusion but from truth. And in this clear navigation, in this precise discernment, in this constant interaction with essence rather than form, lies one of your most powerful contributions to the evolution of collective consciousness. Because in a world of masks and illusions, your simple refusal to see anything but truth becomes a revolutionary act. Number 9. Being one of the chosen ones isn't a destination, but a constant calling. A daily responsibility, a moment-by-moment commitment to your highest truth, to your undiluted authenticity, to your unaltered power. It's the call to remain awake in a world that prefers sleep, to remain real in a world that adores illusions, to remain firm in a world that bows to fear. Now everyone knows that you are one of the chosen ones. The secret is revealed. The mask has fallen. You can no longer hide in anonymity. You can no longer pretend you're just like everyone else. You can no longer dim your light for the comfort of those who prefer darkness. You've been marked for a purpose greater than personal comfort or ordinary achievements. You've been activated to maintain a specific frequency of truth in a world that has forgotten what it looks like, how it feels, how authentic truth resonates. You've been designated to be a beacon, an anchor, a portal for higher energies to manifest in this reality. This isn't about ego. It isn't about being special in the superficial sense. It's about being an aligned vessel for the frequency of truth to flow freely, unobstructed, unaltered. It's about being a point of coherence in a field of chaos, a pole of stability in a sea of confusion, a voice of clarity in a cacophony of noise. Being one of the chosen ones means accepting that your life will never follow the conventional trajectory, that your decisions will often seem inexplicable to those operating from different frequencies, that your priorities will often be in direct conflict with what society considers success or normal or rational. Have you noticed how, whenever you try to conform, to fit in, to follow the beaten path, something in you revolts? How your body physically reacts to any compromise of your truth? How your energy fades? How your clarity disappears? How your power diminishes every time you try to be anything other than what you truly are? This isn't coincidence. It's your internal guidance system keeping you aligned with your highest purpose, with your authentic calling, with the reason you chose to be here at this pivot point of human evolution. Your responsibility isn't to save the world. It isn't to convert the masses. It isn't to transform those who aren't ready for transformation. Your responsibility is simple but profound: to maintain the frequency of truth in every moment, in every breath, in every thought, in every word, in every action. When you do this, when you exist in total alignment with your truth, you become a catalyst for transformation just by your mere presence. You become a living invitation for everyone you come into contact with to rise to their own higher frequency. You become an energetic model that makes it easier for the entire collective consciousness to evolve. It isn't an easy task. It isn't a comfortable path. You will be challenged. You will be tested. You will be repeatedly tempted to abandon your authenticity for security, acceptance, comfort. You will be pressured to dim your light, to moderate your truth, to censor your voice to fit into boxes that were never meant to contain you. But each time you resist these pressures, each time you choose truth over convenience, authenticity over acceptance, alignment over comfort, you become stronger, clearer, more energetically coherent, more effective as a vessel for higher frequencies to manifest through you. And here's the final mystery. The more you relinquish attachment to outcomes, the more completely you surrender to the process of being a simple vessel for truth, the more powerful your manifestation becomes in the world of form. The less concerned you are with what you do, and the more dedicated to what you are, the deeper your impact on the entire field of consciousness. You aren't alone in this calling. You're part of a global network of awakened beings who, each, in their own unique way, maintain the frequency of truth on this planet at a critical moment of its transition. Together, without external plan, without centralized organization, but simply through individual alignment with the same frequency of truth, You create a morphic field powerful enough to catalyze a quantum leap in collective consciousness. This shares the true significance of being one of the chosen ones. It isn't about being above. It's about being aligned. It isn't about excluding. It's about inviting. It isn't about separation. It's about becoming a bridge between the frequencies that have been and the frequencies waiting to be born through. You, through me, through all of us who have chosen to be here now, awake, real, present. Now everyone knows that you are one of them, that you carry this frequency, that you maintain this alignment, that you serve this higher purpose. The secret is revealed, and in this revelation lies both your greatest vulnerability and your deepest power. You are seen in your totality. You are recognized for what you truly are. You are called to step fully into the role for which you came here. There is no more room for hiding, no more space for diminishment, no more justification for being less than the full manifestation of your divine truth. This is your moment. This is your calling. This is your silent revolution, not through force, but through frequency, not through struggle, but through alignment, not through resistance, but through resonance with the highest version of the truth that you are, have always been, and will always be. You are one of the chosen ones. Now everyone knows, and in this knowing lies the transformation of the entire, collective story of humanity, silent, of leadership by example, of authentic influence that emanates from your alignment with your truth. The difference between a manipulator and an authentic leader is simple. The manipulator uses tactics to get what they want from others. The authentic leader inspires others to connect with the highest version of themselves. The manipulator controls. The authentic leader liberates. The manipulator creates dependency. The authentic leader cultivates autonomy. You don't lead by telling others what to do. You lead by doing what you know is aligned with your truth. You don't lead through fear, guilt, or shame. You lead through inspiration, example, and energetic resonance. You don't lead to satisfy your ego. You lead because your authentic frequency naturally elevates and amplifies everything it encounters.